Tonight, before you go to bed, you'll probably do something you've done thousands of times. You'll walk into the bathroom, pick up your toothbrush, and spend 2 minutes cleaning your teeth. It feels like one of the safest routines in your entire day. But here's something most people never realize. The most dangerous thing about your toothbrush isn't your mouth, it's your toilet. That sounds impossible. After all, the toothbrush never touches the toilet. So how could the two possibly be connected? The answer is something happening in your bathroom that you can't see. Every single day, scientists have discovered that an ordinary toothbrush can collect millions of microorganisms, not because the toothbrush is dirty by itself, but because of where it's kept, how it's stored, and what lands on it after you're finished brushing. Most people never replace their toothbrush on time. Many keep it just a few feet away from the toilet. Some even trap moisture around it, accidentally creating the perfect environment for microbes to survive. So, can your toothbrush actually kill you? Not usually, but under the wrong conditions, it absolutely can. And to understand why, you first need to understand what really happens. The moment you finish brushing, what happens after you brush? Most people believe that once they rinse the toothbrush, it's clean again. It isn't, because brushing doesn't remove bacteria, it collects them. Every time you brush, tiny amounts of saliva, food particles, dead skin cells, blood from your gums, and hundreds of different species of bacteria become trapped between the bristles. Your mouth already contains more than 700 different kinds of bacteria. Most are harmless, many are beneficial, but not all of them. Some are responsible for cavities, others cause gum disease, and a few can become dangerous if they enter the bloodstream. The moment you put the toothbrush back into its holder, those microorganisms stay behind, and that's where the real story begins. Why bacteria love your toothbrush. Bacteria need only 3 things to survive: moisture, warmth, and nutrients. A freshly used toothbrush provides all 3. The bristles remain damp for hours. Tiny food particles become a source of nutrition, and bathrooms, especially poorly ventilated ones, stay warm enough for bacteria to survive. Contrary to popular belief, most bacteria don't suddenly appear overnight. They're already there. The toothbrush simply gives them a place to gather. But one everyday habit can make things dramatically worse. The toilet problem. Imagine this. You brush your teeth, place your toothbrush on the sink, then someone flushes the toilet. It looks harmless, but the flush creates something scientists call a toilet plume. Thousands of microscopic droplets shoot into the air. Most are invisible. Some travel over a meter away. Inside those droplets can be bacteria normally found in human waste. If your toothbrush is nearby, some of those droplets can land directly on the bristles. Multiple studies have detected bacteria associated with fecal contamination on toothbrushes stored close to toilets. Not every toothbrush becomes dangerous, but the possibility is very real, especially in shared bathrooms. The mistake most people make so naturally. People try to protect the toothbrush. They put a plastic cap over it. Seems smart. It's actually the opposite. Remember, bacteria love moisture. A closed cap traps water. The toothbrush stays wet much longer. Instead of drying, the bacteria now have a humid environment where many survive even better. Ironically, leaving the toothbrush uncovered in a clean, well-ventilated place is often the healthier choice. But contamination isn't the only problem, because over time, the toothbrush itself begins to fail. When your toothbrush stops cleaning every time you brush, thousands of tiny nylon fibers bend. Slowly, the bristles lose their shape. You might not notice it, but your toothbrush becomes less effective every week. Frayed bristles remove less plaque. More plaque means more bacteria remain on your teeth, which means more bacteria return to the toothbrush. It's a cycle. Dentists generally recommend replacing a toothbrush every 3 to 4 months, but surveys consistently show many people keep theirs much longer. Some for a year, some until the handle breaks. And by then, the toothbrush isn't really cleaning anymore. It's simply moving bacteria around. When it becomes dangerous. Now here's something important. For healthy people, a dirty toothbrush usually won't kill you. Your immune system handles most of the bacteria without difficulty. But not everyone has that protection. Cancer patients receiving chemotherapy, people with weakened immune systems, organ transplant recipients, older adults, people recovering from major surgery. For them, even ordinary bacteria can become dangerous if bleeding gums allow bacteria into the bloodstream. The consequences can sometimes become serious, Rare, but documented. This is why hospitals often have strict toothbrush replacement protocols. Not because toothbrushes are inherently deadly, because vulnerable people cannot afford the extra risk. What science actually says. Scientists have examined toothbrushes for decades, again and again. They find microbial contamination. The exact number changes depending on storage conditions, humidity, and how old the toothbrush is, but the conclusion stays remarkably consistent. A toothbrush is never sterile after use. Ever. Fortunately, that doesn't mean you need expensive UV sanitizers, or antibacterial sprays, or miracle products. The most effective advice remains surprisingly simple. Rinse thoroughly, store upright, allow it to dry completely. Keep it away from the toilet, replace it regularly. Simple habits, huge difference. The real danger. So, can your toothbrush kill you? For almost everyone, probably not. But that's actually the wrong question. The real danger isn't that your toothbrush is secretly poisonous. It's that millions of people assume it's perfectly clean. It isn't. It's one of the few objects you deliberately place inside your mouth. Twice. Every single day. Without ever thinking about where it's been, or what might be living on it. Most of the time, your immune system wins. Sometimes, it doesn't. And now, before you brush your teeth tonight, you'll probably look at your toothbrush very differently. But here's the interesting part. The toothbrush itself was never really the problem. It's just a tool. What matters is everything that happens after you finish brushing, where you leave it, how you store it, whether you let it dry, and how long you keep using it. Because bacteria don't need much. A little moisture, a little time, and a place to survive. That's usually enough. The good news is that solving the problem doesn't require expensive gadgets. It doesn't require special chemicals. And it definitely doesn't require throwing away your toothbrush every week. Instead, science points towards something much simpler. Rinse it thoroughly after every use. Store it upright. Let it air dry naturally. Keep it away from unnecessary sources of contamination whenever possible. And replace it before the bristles become worn out. They're tiny habits. They take only a few seconds, but repeated every single day. Those few seconds can make a surprisingly big difference. That's the fascinating thing about science. Sometimes, it doesn't completely change your life. It simply changes the way you look at ordinary things. And once you know what's happening, you can't really unsee it. So tonight, when you walk into your bathroom, you'll probably glance at your toothbrush for just a little longer than usual. Not because you should be afraid of it, but because you'll finally understand what was hiding in plain sight all along. And that's exactly what curiosity does. It turns ordinary objects into extraordinary stories. If you enjoyed uncovering the hidden science behind something you use every single day, subscribe, because next time, we're uncovering another everyday mystery that will completely change the way you see the world.